sports reporting. It's a 15-yard penalty. First down. You know nothing about sports.
Nuts prod, not the beats.
You know nothing about sports.
Red lights on.
Let's go. Let's get it.
I see the red light, and we're live. And K-Man, America, we were just discussing the Bills Broncos game, and K-Man, one of you guys brought up a good point, man. And with all the penalties and in that particular, like you said, that particular sequence, man, they were not disciplined at all.
No.
Just like I mentioned earlier, when Allen got outside of the pocket, the defense wasn't disciplined. Like I said, when he got outside the pocket, he looked even better than he was in the pocket. And I was like, wow. And you guys alluded to it earlier. One of the people on NFL Network was saying that, they were, when you guys say they was drooling over how good Josh Allen is. And I've always heard that, he's an athlete. He's an athlete. So, but I mean,
I respect Josh Allen. He has 100% of my respect because I love the way he plays. He doesn't always make the best decisions. Even in this game, he could have easily have thrown 2 picks.
right.
Easily. But one of them got dropped and another ended up falling short. But I love the way he plays because he plays fearless. He's not scared. He's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of the moment. But he's just got to get he needs more games under his belt. I feel like he needs more experience. And I think he's going to be a real problem, man, for years to come.
I respect him that coming out, there was a knock on him. And a lot of people, especially a lot of people in the Broncos land, Broncos country, compared him to Paxton Lynch. But as I told Brandon earlier before you came on, he's not Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch, yes, they're both 6'5", both strong, both athletes. But in one person, in Josh Allen, you got a kid who wants to be better, who wants to know the game inside and out. And in Paxton Lynch, you got somebody who's stupid and loved playing Fortnite. Didn't have the work ethic.
K-Man, you earlier during our texting, you brought up, you said you blamed John Elway. And one of the commenters kind of hinted to what you said was that in the draft, the Broncos had the chance to take Josh Allen.
But
they passed
Broncos 2018 draft, the Broncos had the 5th pick. This is how much they did not want Josh Allen. They had a deal in place with the Bills that if Josh Allen was there at 5, that they were going to trade with the Bills. But then the Broncos didn't know that Bradley Chubb was going to be available, so they just took Bradley Chubb. Paxton Lynch has scared John Elway so much that he didn't want to do it. But that's one of my reasons for firing John Elway is he has the smallest personnel department in the NFL by design. It's not money. It's just that he doesn't trust people. You need more eyes. They've done a good job since Paxton Lynch of finding better talent, more mature players, but you still need, more people to get more, find more gems. And he's had this job for 10 years now. And, he got 5 divisions, 2 AFC championships, 1 Super Bowl, but it's time for him to go. It's time for him to go.
So, K-Man, if you were the Broncos GM back in 2018, would you have drafted Allen over Chubb?
No, I wouldn't. Because once again, I was scared of Josh Allen too, so I wouldn't have drafted him either. I would have still took Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, because when around that time during the draft, the 2018 draft, Josh Allen he fit the bill of the guy from the small school with the measurables that everybody just loves to hype up when he hasn't played anybody.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, rightfully so, that there's a lot of people that weren't on board and still wouldn't be on board if they could do it all over again.
But B, to your point, I want to ask you a question. So, Josh Allen went to Wyoming, University of Wyoming. So you consider that a small school, or do you consider a school that's not among one of the most well known?
Well, yeah. When I say small school, I'm not saying like small school as in student body or whatever. But Wyoming is not in your top 20, top 25 choices of schools. When somebody says, "Okay, name me 20 college football teams," maybe not even top 50.
Yeah.
Look! A shout out to the people from Wyoming. You guys are on the only state that's square. Really, the only state that's square. But here's the thing: when Josh Allen was playing with Wyoming, it caught my attention because I love college football. It caught my attention, man, when I saw Wyoming ranked like 22 and 23. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like you. Who the heck playing for Wyoming? Where they get?
Yeah.
Right. And you would think, when you think of the Midwest, you typically think of big, tough college football programs, but
yeah, Big Ten,
Wyoming, Idaho.
But look, B, here's the funny thing, yo. When Sean was applying for colleges, I said, dude, you ought to apply to University of Wyoming. And he was like, what? And here's the kicker, the reason I told him. The acceptance rate at the University of Wyoming is 95%.
Mm.
So you almost guaranteed if you apply, you would get in.
Yeah, but he don't want to be in those cold Wyoming winters.
No, okay, man. Lil Sean told me when we was driving home, he said he loved the cold weather. For some reason, he's fixated on moving to Manhattan. I'm like, do you want?
Bro, even in Manhattan, that's a different type of cold.
That's a different type of cold.
My uncle drives trucks. He's been driving trucks for as long as I've been alive, and I'll never forget the story. I think he was coming from Minnesota, but like cows' ears, it had gotten so cold. Yeah. Cows' ears were literally freezing and falling off.
Wow. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, like minus 30, minus 40 type.
I'm gonna tell you. When I was in the military, I had my car shipped to Seattle, and I drove from Seattle all the way over to this side. But when I left Seattle, I came straight down, came through Idaho, and I ended up in Salt Lake City, right? So I took literally Interstate 70 straight across the country to Frederick, dude. That's what, and I-70 goes that far through all them states. So
yeah,
I came through Denver, and I told my wife a couple of weeks ago, I said, I'll never forget it. It was the beginning of May. May now, I'm riding in Denver on I-70. And believe it or not, I saw snow. Couldn't believe it in May. I'm like, hold up. But then I realized the elevation and all that crap.
Yeah, that's the reason why Denver has applied for the NFL draft. Like since Chicago blew it out the water when they had it, and the NFL keep going to other places because Denver's weather is unpredictable.
Right,
it is.
It could be snowing one day, 2 days later it could be 80 degrees. It's just weird.
Yeah, that literally happened this year. It was like 80 degrees. And then it snowed. No, it snowed, and then it was like 80 degrees like 2 or 3 days later. I think it was in October.
Man, it freaked me out because I had just left Alaska, and I was like, wow, man. I said, I'm not going to see snow for a minute. And I'm riding through this joint, man, and I'm looking like, and I said, the heck is that, snowflakes? But I will say this, when I was riding through I-70, man, coming up to Denver, up in the mountains, man, they had some beautiful homes. My thing is, I don't know how the heck they would get to these homes, but you riding and you see like a bunch of Christmas trees off the highway, and then you like peek through the Christmas trees, you see this big old nice like log cabin looking house, man. I'm like, God dog, I'm like, who live in this joint?
Yeah, my only visuals of Colorado are from the movie Dumb and Dumber.
Well, look, K-Man.
Great movie.
Mine are from cartoons from South Park.
K-Man, do you think because of like the weather situation in Denver, does that play into a lot of the players' psyche?
No, it actually gives them an advantage, especially the first in September, is because the elevation is so high. It gives them an advantage.
Yeah.
The problem is the last couple of years they have not been taking advantage of that. But that's always been that home field advantage because, and then unfortunately, if you have sickle cell anemia, you can't play.
That's Ryan Clark.
I'm tell you, when I was in Alaska, because Alaska is hiding all that crap.
Yeah.
And I had to run the PE and I was in the military. You have to literally train your lungs to breathe at that elevation.
Yeah.
Seriously. Mm-hmm. Because when I first got there, dude, I was like struggling to run 2 miles. And one of the sergeants was like, you got to think about it, man. He said, you're at a higher elevation. And of course, I'm from way down south. We already below sea level anyway.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I'd be above sea level. But when I got there, I'm like, man, I said, okay, he has a point. And it's like the air is different. I mean, you up that high, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And didn't Ryan Clark, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Ryan Clark miss a playoff game when they lost to Tim Tebow?
Yes.
Yeah, he could.
That's the reason why Tebow. I mean, that's the reason why Emmanuel Sanders hit that pass because Ike, I can't think of his name, who sucked as a corner, didn't get any help from the safety because the safety was a backup.
Talking about. Yeah. That Ike played at Florida, man. University of Florida, coming back to Florida. You're talking about. Yeah, because that's a good point. Because Ryan Clark still can't go to that high elevation like that.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Like I said, man, that takes. I mean, and in my mind, when I came to Fort Belvoir, I was in better shape because I was at a higher elevation. My body had to work differently. Yeah. But that means
before we all had to mask up, you know, people used to be in the gym and put that treadmill on incline and have like a mask on to get better breathing.
Right.
Yeah. Now that's a workout. You put that treadmill incline. That's a workout.
Yep.
I can't do it now. It's a workout there, boy. Ooh, boy. Look here, man. Another thing I was into, the reason I was late, I was up here watching the Wizards game.
Oh, okay.
Your boy looking pretty decent with the Wizards right now. Westbrook.
Yeah.
It is preseason, though.
Yeah.
And I watched that Lakers game last night, and I'm looking like, hold up, man, what the heck? The Phoenix Suns hanging with the Lakers?
Preseason.
Look, preseason.
Yeah, but it's funny you mentioned Russ because Russ does that. Russ is gonna look. He's gonna look all world. You know, these first few weeks of the season, first couple months of the season. You know, everybody's gonna be on the Russ train because you know that's what Russ does. But when it matters, look at Russ's resume, and I rest my case.
Yeah, because they were talking about John Wall, who just coming off Achilles surgery.
I want to bring that up.
He's like, oh, he looked good. I'm like, it's preseason. And then they were talking about KD. Like, look at KD's burst.
KD looked good.
I'm like, it's preseason.
KD looked good last night, man. When I was watching him, I was like, oh, snap, he got a little spring. He got a dunk. Okay.
Dude, Skip Bayless was, he was like legit pitching tents on Twitter over KD's game last night.
It's preseason. I'm just all I'm saying. It's preseason.
I mean, just full on, just like slurp mode.
He can't do back to backs.
Look, B.
He's going to be on low management preseason.
Look, B, K-Man, for this segment, K-Man, you got a choice. B Wig said called hashtag pitching tents. Which pitch? But look, man, I wanted to ask y'all because we were texting about it early in the week. Is James Harden wrong for wanting out after he wanted Westbrook there and it didn't work out?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, snap.
I don't have a problem with him asking to leave. I have a problem with the way he's doing it. That's my issue.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like here we are again, you know, getting a glimpse into the mind of a star that we haven't really dove that deep into. You know, he really hasn't given us reason to dive into his psyche, the way he operates as it you know pertains to things that go on off the court. You know, his work ethic, all of this stuff. You know, the way he approaches the game, and now all of those things are now in question because of how he's handling this situation.
Yeah.
And I'm kind like I say that he's wrong for wanting out. I say he's wrong for that, but I understand it from a player standpoint, but the way you're doing it is totally wrong.
Totally wrong.
Okay.
Like, he's been there for 8 years. They were the franchise who saw potential superstardom in him because previously he was Sixth Man of the Year, and he's surpassed everything. And this offseason has been a very turbulent offseason. I mean, the guy who brought you in,
gone.
The coach who's been coach the last 4 years, gone. So, and then you just see all these changes, and then you see your team, how they played against the Lakers, and you're like, all right, I want gone. The problem is, it's the matter of fact the way he's doing it, and now the hit pieces are coming out about him.
Right. The stuff that people didn't really know about.
Right, and the problem, and once again, I don't want to take I'm not taking any shots at her, but you have your mother as your agent, and I don't know who's your manager, but you're allowing these shots to be taken at you when you can come back at Houston and you can say, well, Tillman Fertitta is a bad owner. He's the reason why Mike D'Antoni, because it was almost ageism charges against him. He didn't want to go into the luxury tax the last 2 seasons, so he didn't really want to win.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, so he's not trying to help me win, and he's forcing the general manager's hand. But because you don't have the right apparatus around you, you're just taking all this stuff.
Well,
as our former manager, shout out to Mark, you're taking it.
He told Brandon that, bro, you just gonna sit there and take it.
Over there taking it.
But look, so my question to you all is that since you all say that he's doing it wrong by trying to leave the team, so what's the right way to leave a team in this particular situation, though?
I mean, if you want out, and this is just me, if you want out, just keep it out of the media. Tell your agent, look, you request a trade. I'm ready to go. But unfortunately for James, he got all this extra stuff going on that's gotten out.
But B, in these days, that's hard to do. You just said keep it out of the media.
Yeah, that is.
Do you know how hard that is, B?
Well, yeah, and it's double hard for him because of all of the mini circus that's going on around him. Training in Vegas and Atlanta, quote unquote training, and and all of that.
There's a way to do it. It's the way Kobe did it in 2007. Kobe said, I want out. And so the Lakers, but he didn't, he still showed up. He still practiced. He still played the games, but he wanted out. And what he did was he forced the Lakers to make certain moves.
Right.
That's the professionalism that you do. You state that you want out and you do it. Anthony Davis kind of pussyfooted around, but he still was a professional.
Yeah.
That was a difference. I think he had 1 year left on his contract.
Right.
Yeah, he had 1 year left on his contract, and the Pelicans ownership respected him enough and said, okay, you want to trade, you want out, okay, dude, you paid, we drafted you, you play here 7 years, okay, you got 1 year left, we'll let you go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. So
and
another question to you.
It's not many people out here that's going to give James Harden the benefit of the doubt right now because of his his record in the playoffs, his resume in the playoffs, and then the fact that it's little stuff like James Harden doesn't take care of his body the way that a superstar normally would.
He does. He actually does.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that no one knows about, and this is the problem: is after games, he goes out with the coaches and shoot, and then lift weights, and then lift weights. But that's the problem I'm having. Like, why are you allowing all this stuff to be said about you and not open your mouth and defend yourself?
So why does he look like Clarence in a uniform then if he takes care of his body? Like, where's all this work going?
because that's how his body looked like. Like that picture that went around on whatever the game it was.
Right.
That was a bad angle shot. Because if you watch the game, you see that he's actually like he actually came in really good shape, but it was a bad angle shot. It was
right, and that's and a lot of people picked that up and ran with it. But what people don't understand is, you know, when it comes to pictures can be manipulated in so many
Photoshop
in
so many ways.
Everybody has a basic editing feature on their phone.
Right.
Android or Apple, you got a basic feature on your phone. And then you can add in Photoshop or Lightroom or whatever.
All right, here's the last question about my man Harden. I'm going to ask both of y'all. I want to pose this question to both of y'all. In 2 years, where will James Harden be?
I'm not gonna say a specific team, but he won't be in Houston. He won't be. If they're smart, get rid of him now. What he has got, I understand that he says he's all about the team right now, but the reality of it is, you know, with everything that has gotten out, the situation is toxic to the locker room. The situation is toxic to what your new coach is trying to establish and build there. So,
I agree with that.
So trade him, see what John Wall has left. See what John Wall has left, and put pieces around him that'll help accelerate the process of, you know, this. I'm not even. It wouldn't even if they trade James Harden. I'm not gonna call it a full scale rebuild. They're gonna rebuild on the fly because you can't afford in the West. You can't afford to shut down and stop just to rebuild your team. You got to rebuild on the fly. So take those assets, take those draft picks that you get from trading them, and either use those on draft picks on young players that can help fill out the roster and help build, or package them and trade them for a player that, you know, can help you once again accelerate the process and be, you know, a fit for John Wall.
So Boogie already kind of took like a slight shot at him because he's like, because Boogie, they asked him about the locker room. He's like, man, we got a great bunch of guys in here. We gelling, we love each other and everything like that, you know. And I'm talking about the guys, and he goes, I'm talking about the guys in here. So that was a shot.
Okay, man, to your point, that's what I heard. Yeah. Because it's like the locker room is like there's togetherness in the locker room. And I told you, and when I watched the Rockets play the other night, I was like, oh, snap. I said, I don't know if he's fast as he was before, but my man still got some good moves. And that team, without James Harden, look real good. Now,
and they like the concepts that Stephen Silas has come in and the way that he wants to attack defenses differently. To your question, in 2 years, he will be a Philadelphia 76er.
I heard that, man, because people been trying to like put other teams in the mix to sweeten the pie. I'm like,
Brandon has already said this before. The West is loaded. What's not loaded is the East. So if you pair James Harden with Philly and the shooters they got, you can make a run. If you pair James Harden in Boston, which I'm now hearing, and then had the tandem of him and Tatum, that's a run. So he's probably going to East Coast, and it'll probably be Ben Simmons, another player, and 3 first-round picks.
Look,
because James Harden's locked in for 2 years.
And that's the floor. That's the floor for a deal, I think.
That's a floor.
I'm gonna tell you, the fact that if he does go to the East, you guys know what that sets up, right? That sets up him against Westbrook.
Yeah.
When the regular season, they wouldn't see each other in the playoffs.
Oh, they have seen each other in the playoffs, and James Harden's always beating them.
No, I'm saying like now they wouldn't.
But be on the lookout, because everything I'm hearing is like be on the lookout. You see, the first 20 games of the season, whatever Eastern Conference team doesn't come out the gate really fast, might be willing to make that move. And so that's Boston. That's Philly. Brooklyn has no assets, so it's and Miami, but Miami doesn't have assets. The player, the foundational player.
All right, look here, man. We're gonna stick with the NBA, and this is a topic, man. You guys went kind of real deep in on this week when y'all were texting. Rumor has it that the Kawhi Leonard deal is kind of shady. That Jerry West still owes like $2 million or something like that. So I know you guys were saying that you guys, both of you said you don't think the deal was legit. There's something going on in the background. So whose palms got greased, and how did this deal get through? That's my question. If it's not legit, how did it get approved?
Look,
what's going on?
I don't I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but we all know Kawhi's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't never struck me as the most upstanding, straightforward dude.
Dude from
You
Jersey.
know what I'm saying?
Come on.
So
You're from Jersey. Come on.
so I'm not all that surprised, really. I'm really not all that surprised.
Yeah, because the thing that I looked up, man, it was saying that Jerry West still owed like $2.5 million on the deal. I'm like, wait a minute, how can he make a deal if he doesn't have all the money to make the deal? I'm like, what happened with that?
Yeah, and when this came out, my mind immediately went to
Kevin Durant.
KD to Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jerry West was the orchestrator of that one too.
Oh, so that's the common denominator, huh?
Yes.
Hey,
now
if the shoe fits.
Hold on, B and K, man. We got to put this out there. Do you guys know who he talking about? Do you know who Jerry West is, right?
The logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I saw that reported, and I was like, you B, I said, wait a minute. I did my research, and I said, wait a minute. I said, he still 2.5. I'm like, how can he make a deal if he didn't have all the money? I said, is there something in business I'm missing where you can like, okay, look, 10 years from now, just give me the money. We good. That could be the case.
Well, let me say this, and Kennedy, you can go.
Yeah.
Any other great agent or agent representing a superstar, they see something shady, they're walking away. They may even drop the player as a client. Kawhi's uncle ain't that dude. He's not that guy. He's not that person. Go ahead, Kennedy.
All right, so let me run this back. Now remember, I'm taking you summer. What was it? I got summer 2000. 2020 so long. I forgot. It was summer 2019. All right, summer 2019. All the speculation was, oh, Kawhi's going to the Lakers. Oh, he's going to what's name? And that was that. And then he had to make his deal, and then nothing happened.
Yep.
You wake up the next morning, and all of a sudden you see this complex deal that Oklahoma City and the Clippers got done with Paul George. And then Kawhi, like out of the blue. And then we hear that Kawhi, and then we hear backstories that Kawhi was trying to get KD to come over to the Clippers. And then KD said no. And then he was trying, and then all this secretness. Look, Jerry West has been in this league since the 60s as a player, as a team president, as a general manager. Mm-hmm. He is the man who got Shaq from Orlando to the Lakers. Right. This man knows the dirty work of the NBA. So when I heard that there was a shadiness, and I'm like, yeah, I believe it, because I still don't know how did something that complex get done so quickly? It made no sense to me.
Jerry West essentially got Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown. Same dude. Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown.
Well, look.
I mean, later on, Marcus Gasol was a part of the deal. But no, we didn't know what Marcus Gasol was, and we didn't know he was going to turn out to be.
But here's the thing, man. Here's the point I want to make. Is it that Jerry West is really smart, or is there something really shady going on? And that like you say, he's been in the league since the 60s. He's been a general manager. He might know those back doors and he might know the back alleys to make deals done that
there
are
it
legit.
is, right there. There it is. It's the back deals. And also, he knows the rules. He probably helped write them because he's been in the league so long.
Good point,
in
man. Wow.
such a prominent position.
That's a damn good point, K man. He wrote the rules and said, okay, look, I know this one. I made it up. Okay, yeah.
And then you got to remember, he was the general manager for the Lakers when they were running the show in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, him and the Bus family. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna be real interesting to see, what comes out of this investigation.
I know, B. I'm so curious to see, man.
I mean,
I am so curious because when I saw it, I did my research and the $2.5 million. I'm like, wait a minute, man.
Because look, the timing of it all is funny because 2 weeks after Paul George get his bag, now the Kawhi deal is being investigated.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think anything's going to happen to Jerry West. Adam Silver is not David Stern. Adam Silver,
you're right about that.
He is a players commissioner. He makes his partners, his bosses, money, but he's a players commissioner. So if it was David Stern, a lot of this stuff would have been, knocked out or something like that. But not. That's why when everybody always say that when the Knicks, they're gonna get the number one pick. That doesn't. It's Adam Silver's team. Like here's a move. I remember Brandon. Remember Shane we used to work with?
Yeah, DJ.
I remember when the lottery happened, and he's like, "Oh man, I wonder what the Wizards gonna get." I was like, "Oh, they're gonna get the number one pick." He's like, "How do you know that?" Trust me, they're gonna get the number one pick, and they got the number one pick. Why did they get the number one pick? Because Ted Leonsis just bought the team. That was Adam Silver's way. David Stern's way of rewarding him is because I'm gonna give you the number one pick. You know why? Because he did it years later with Anthony Davis.
Right.
When your late owner died and saved basketball in New Orleans, he rewarded him with the number one pick. When LeBron left, he rewarded the Cleveland Cavaliers with 3 number ones in 4 years.
So look, man, all the stuff you guys, man, look, since we talking about people from LA, we know where I'm going. You guys brought it up early in the week, man. You were talking about Westbrook from LA, Harden from LA, Kawhi from LA, and we just talked about some shady undergoings going on with Jerry West, who was originally in LA. So, is there a theme with these LA people or LA players? Do they have like an attitude, that they want to carry, and because they're from the Golden State, they think they can get their way, or what's the deal with these LA players, man? Because we were talking about that earlier.
Kenny, you take this one.
I don't know. I really don't know. And the thing about it is, it could be 10 years from now, a new crop of kids from LA come through and they monsters. I'm just going with the crop that is now. I've looked at it in this team that they're weak. I'm not blaming the city of Los Angeles. I'm just blaming those players. They just happen to come out of the city of Los Angeles. It could be the AAU. It could be the AAU system.
Yeah.
Because I want to say, didn't the 3 Ball brothers play in that system too in LA growing up out there?
Yeah,
briefly.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys mentioned, man, about James Harden. I don't know if it was you, B, talking about he was booking flights to go fly places and trying to hang out with rappers and all this stuff.
Oh, that was me. He wasn't. He wasn't booking flights. He was chartering private jets.
Yeah.
When Daniel House got caught in the bubble, there were prop bets because everybody thought it was going to be James Harden who was going to get violated for bringing a woman up to his room. but he kept it. He kept it cool.
I think Daniel House was the fall guy. To be completely honest, I still think the beer had his way with us.
But look, man, you guys brought up a good point, man, about LA players, man, because I know one of you guys mentioned about how Kawhi was able to live somewhere in San Diego, and all the other players had to live up by LA, and he has preferential treatment. And now we got James Harden, like you said, chartering jets everywhere. Yeah. I'm like, man, I said, and in my mind, I'm like, could it be the LA lifestyle that people grew up in? You know, because majority of people probably out in LA, if you out there, you got some money, you can make things happen.
Especially now.
Yeah, I mean, there are websites who are tracking fifth graders on saying this fifth grader could project to be somebody in 5 years and 10 years. So if you're in LA and you're an agent and you see one of these kids, you're like, oh, let me get my hands on them really early. And this is also the place where people come to become stars.
Right.
And if they can't become stars, they try to get with a star.
And K-Man, you're touching on a real touchy subject, dude. Real touchy. Because that's been what a lot of people been bringing up. And I don't know if LA could be a hotbed for that. You know, because, and I always use Brayden, you know, happy birthday, Brayden, shout out.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, because, and B, I always mention this to you. Where you are in North Carolina, it's a little bit different, but put you and your family in LA, Brayden's balling out. He's right there in LA. The stars are going to meet him.
Right.
And K-Man just alluded to it. They're starting to look at these kids are like in 5th, 6th grade, AAU circuit. Yeah. Now,
Drew League.
That being said, just like I'm saying about these LA players, because they're in that particular market, that LA market, they're balling out in LA. I think it gets in their psyche that, oh, I can do anything I want. I'm from LA. I'm privileged. You know, I'm from the Golden State.
I mean, that has a lot to do with it, but it also has, I think, more to do with parenting. I mean, you're responsible for instilling a certain mindset into your child.
Come on, B. Let's keep it real, B. Come on, man.
But if the parents have a nonchalant, arrogant attitude, then what do you think is going to happen to the kid?
Okay, man, you got to back me up on this. We talking to Brandon over here. We know how Brandon roll.
But yeah, but also it could be the environment. I'm old, so I remember Outkast talking about how they make their beats.
Yeah.
So Outkast said when they went to New York, he said, you know, coming from Atlanta, they go to New York and they just see the hustle bustle of New York and the fastness. And he said, and I think it was Andre said, you see that and you can see why their style is the way they are. They're more harder beats, rougher lyrics because of their environment. Now ours is more laid back because we're in the country. It's not as congested. It's not as fast paced moving. So maybe LA or California, because it's, you know, most of their weather, if it's not on fire, it's really good.
Okay. I don't mean to laugh, America, but
hey, I'm not the one.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But maybe it's also, maybe Brandon might be right. Maybe it's the environment. Maybe it's a little bit more, I want to say not as rough, but maybe it's just a little bit more easier.
And that's my point when I was talking about B is my Brandon. You know, we know how you were when you were a kid, man. We all got into stuff, man.
Yeah. Right.
And I know you're in, you know, Sheena raised him, you know, Brayden really good. But if you put him in that market and he's balling out and y'all got all these scouts coming to your house, everybody's coming, trying to talk, say, hey, look, man, Brayden could be the next middle linebacker. Oh, yeah. We want him to go to UCLA, USC. Yeah. Alabama.
Right.
Now, be honest, B. You mean to tell me you and your wife don't see dollar signs?
Well, of course, but that's not what defines us as a family. This is, that's why that's one of the reasons why, one of the reasons why I married my wife is because of her values. She has a, crack proof foundation, of values that she was raised on. And money is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Is you need it, you gotta have it. You want lots of it. That's everybody. But that does not define, who we are and how we operate as a family. Now, when those opportunities do present themselves, we're not going to turn anything down. We're just going to, you be smart about you be smart about the decisions that you make.
But to K-Man's point, K-Man mentioned the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like LA is a different environment. Everybody's like balling. If your son is like one of the stars out there,
right,
he's going to eventually see these people be. Even if you and your wife aren't around, he's going to be in that environment in LA.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's why I'm under so much pressure now. He as a 7-year-old to instill in him this stuff now, so that when he does, turn 18, goes off to college, I'm not gonna have my finger on him. I'm not going. I'm not gonna have my leash on a dude. So it's up to him whether he heeds to my direction. All these years of direction, it's up to him now. This is what I'm preparing him for. So if he's 18, so he's gonna start making some of his own decisions.
Okay, here's the thing. To K-Man's point again, the environment. James Harden came out of LA, and James Harden has money. K-Man just alluded. He was chartering jets everywhere, flying.
Right.
Do you all think that environment growing up in LA transitioned into the way he's acting now with some of these LA-based players?
No.
That's
No.
anybody. I mean, anybody that had a rather, rough upbringing or, not an unfavorable upbringing, they're liable to do anything when they get $1 million. I mean, he's not the only one. He's just being singled out because he's James Harden and he's at the front of every NBA article now.
And he is doing it. He's been doing it for so long. I still remember Chris Paul when he was coming over and they asked him about James Harden, about playing with James Harden. It's like, oh, James loved the ball. James loved the ball. He's also a young man. He said it twice. And I was like, what? That's the first time I heard. I was like, what? And it was like, oh. So, yeah, I mean, there's a rumor about the Phoenix Suns, and I'm not going to leave it there. You look it up for yourself. And it's just like, we've all seen or heard certain things. I mean, let's be for real. God rest his soul. But when Kobe was in the interrogation room, he alluded some things about Shaq. Right?
No. Tell the truth. He dimed Shaq out.
Yeah,
exactly.
He basically said, "I should have did what Shaq did."
Right.
Yeah, but no, that had nothing to do. Shaq had nothing to do with what you were going through.
Zero.
And we all remember what happened in that playoff game against the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks when Kevin Garnett said something to Melo about his wife. It goes on.
Yep. I remember that.
It's just that
he was a dirty dude.
Yeah, that was so dirty.
Yeah, that was
so dirty. I mean, All-Star Weekend is seen like an event for certain types of people. Right.
Y'all know All-Star Weekend, man, is for the women to go out there and try to find a ball, man.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I hear things.
Right.
But look, all right, man. Look, we gonna flip it. Kind of stay on the same subject. We're gonna flip it to the game this past Thursday. I know we didn't we all pick the Browns to win?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
And look, in the room where people were making fun of Lamar Jackson when he ran to go to the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying that, yeah, we some people on Twitter were saying, yeah, I know what kind of run that is. Talking about he had to go to the bathroom to do a number two.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he can say what he wants. He was. He said, dude, you had to go boo boo. I know. I do it myself. I know. Look.
And it was probably something COVID related. He was he recovering from COVID, so it could have messed up his bowels.
Right. And they were probably giving him antibiotics.
Yeah.
So antibiotics mess with your guts.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's
Dookie,
okay.
it's okay. Dookie, you had to go Dookie. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. it just made what you did after you had to, relieve yourself more legendary.
Yeah,
exactly.
It did, actually.
Exactly. See, the thing is, the thing that he didn't like was people throwing out the Paul Pierce thing. And it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I text you when you that Friday morning when you said apparently I missed a heck of a game. I was like, yeah, Lamar did his best Paul Pierce impression.
In the interview, B, that's exactly what he said. He said, no, I didn't pull a Paul Pierce. Nah. Oh, man.
That image of Paul Pierce is still,
he was in the, yeah, look.
Because they carried him out. And then
they put him in a wheelchair. And he's like slumped over in the wheelchair, holding his knee.
Like, and then all of a sudden he come out running and jumping. Remember that Martin episode? Yeah.
Coming out about 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah. The Ice Cube joint, yeah.
Look, we all know that feeling. Know that feeling. You drop one, you get up, you feel like you can go dunk, no matter how old you are.
Hey, yeah. Look. When I first thought about the Paul Pierce thing, he was saying that y'all know who I thought about, man.
Who that?
You got young guys.
Oh man,
running to the bathroom.
Oh, that dude.
And look, man, and B, you can hit that joint that time, man. We was in the depot, man. You talking about he took off running? You hit that run just like he did. I said, God.
Nah, it's nothing to do with the run. It's the mouth, the duck mouth.
Yes, it was the mouth. He had like a rice on his head.
Oh man! All right, boy. Those were the topics, man. We touched on this week, man.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the MLB and Giannis.
Oh, yeah, my man got his bag, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Did.
My man got his bag.
He did. He got his bag and his respect meter for me went up to 100.
Yeah, and that sparked a lot of the added teams to the James Harden stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
because everybody wanted that Giannis sweepstakes. Golden State, Miami, I think Boston might have been in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Pat Riley is furious. He's mad. He's mad about Giannis, but this had a trickle down effect because he just signed Bam Adebayo to a max deal in hopes that Bam's presence would help lure Giannis to Miami.
Right.
Look now you're stuck with that contract for a player that wasn't worthy of it in the first place.
Right.
And he's not really a star though. That's my thing.
No.
He's not. He's on the cusp. He's on the cusp, but he's not there yet.
And I know, they made a thing about when Bam signed that deal, and they did the story about how he bought his mom a house and everything. That's cool. I understand that.
Yeah.
But for the money he got, I didn't see him as that. That's a lot of money for a role player, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Pat Riley wanted another chance to get a player in front of him and do the bag trick.
Yep.
What he did to LeBron. And the Golden State Warriors wanted another chance to get a player in front of him and give him say, hey, Steph Curry. We all know Steph Curry ain't no star. He's just a passenger in the bus. We're gonna have you drive the bus. But he stayed in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee.
And look,
Yep.
and look, we talked about markets, didn't we? Good markets to be in, right?
Yeah, he doesn't care about any of that. He doesn't care about the buddy system, going and joining your buddies,
Yeah, when
going
you
to play
guys mentioned that.
going to play with other superstars. He cares nothing about none of that. He wants to build it himself. And he's like, if y'all want to come here, you're welcome, but I'm not chasing you.
Yeah, exactly.
He said in the article after he got his deal, this deal was about championships and his children.
Look,
To set up his children and win championships.
I'm gonna tell you, man, when Giannis got that deal, and to what you just said, B, I thought about a scene from the movie Half Baked. When your boy was working at the job and he quit and he grabbed the microphone, F you, F you, you cool.
You're cool.
Right.
F you, I'm out.
Yeah. That's basically what Giannis said to the league. You know, you
Great
superstar over there, F you. You superstar, F you. You over there in Houston, you cool. You know? And he got his money. And just like I said, he's a good cornerstone that team that the Bucks have built them around. I was sad to see Brogdon leave, but
right. Yeah, he's a player that, I would have personally gone after had we not got Dennis Schroeder on the Lakers. Malcolm Brogdon's a baller, but yeah, the Bucks, man, they got a window, and whatever their chances are, they've got good ones for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Giannis, like I said, Giannis got his bag, and I really seen the Bucks being a force again, man. This particular season again.
And now what? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say when I watched the Bucks this week, the team still looks kind of good. Of course, Giannis is doing his thing.
Yeah,
and I mean the team looks real. I was surprised with the way they look, because I thought when Brogdon left, I'm like, okay, Brogdon was a key contributor. Right. I said something's got to fall off somewhere, but they look pretty decent.
Yeah,
and then with him staying, that now management can sell players on coming there. The rumor was that Chris Paul was trying to get traded there, but they didn't know about the situation, so they made the move with Phoenix.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm not messing with y'all, man. Speaking of that, Chris Paul, man, I don't know which one of y'all did it, but when y'all sent that picture, man, I fell out the chair laughing. I couldn't believe it. One of you guys sent the picture of Chris Paul with the State Farm dude, and then somebody sent another picture with Chris Paul with my man. What you call him? What's the light skinned dude from Phoenix, man?
Devin Booker.
Yeah. One of you guys did that, and one of you said, "Okay, I understand. I see why now."
Yeah, no. That was the caption on the picture. That was the caption.
Yeah.
Like, it all makes sense now.
It was somebody on the internet did it, right?
Yeah.
It was one that I found on Facebook.
I said, man, I died laughing, man. I said, man, what the heck?
Internet's undefeated, dude.
But
he couldn't make no commercials with anybody in OKC. He gonna make some commercials now in Phoenix with Devin Booker and State Farm.
I said, mark my words, man. The Bucks are going to be a force again.
Well,
I kind of got them in the playoffs, the Eastern Conference.
Well, they're gonna make the playoffs.
We talked about it briefly in a previous podcast, about the holiday deal.
Yeah.
I wasn't that enthused about it, because I felt like it was kind of a wash, really. You give a little here to get a little here, but they'll be there. They'll be in the top. They'll be in the top 3. They'll be in the conversation for best record in the NBA again.
I think you guys already kind of answered the question. So that Giannis deal was worth it, right? For the amount of money he got. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Back-to-back MVP, only the third player in league history to win MVP and defensive player of the year in the same year. Oh yeah.
Look, and this shows a bunch of kids out there. Look, you don't have to be a great shooter to get rich in NBA.
No, you don't.
Do other things well. Be great at other things, and you'll get your money.
You get your bag. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not taking a shot at his game, but everybody, there's no secret that he's not a shooter first. He can knock down open threes at 35% or whatever clip he hits him at. But
I hope, this is my hope. I hope following this offseason, whatever happens, he hits up Patrick Ewing, he hits up Akeem Olajuwon, he hits up David Robinson or Tim Duncan, and you go out there and work on them. Because no one asking you to shoot threes, but you have to be at least dangerous from at least 10 to 15 feet out.
Right. Because I mean, you got guys like Pat Connaughton and Chris Middleton who are, legit dangerous.
They'll bomb you
from, beyond the arc. So you got to make teams respect your shot.
Yeah.
And he needs a go-to. He needs a signature go-to. He needs to work on his post footwork. Go holler at the dream. Go get your footwork right. Go get your footwork right, because I mean, listen, as freakish of an athlete as he is, you got he's a Greek dude with the body of a Greek god. We get it. Look, that style of play, running up and down the court 100 miles an hour, trying to run people over, that's not sustainable.
No.
So there are times, good defensive teams are going to take you out of that. Good defensive teams are going to take you out of that. So you need to be able to post up. You need to be able to get on the block, post up, work on your footwork, and develop that portion of your game. I don't think he's ever going to be a great shooter.
No.
He doesn't. He's never. I don't think he's ever going to be a great shooter. So he needs to be able to develop another aspect of his game. And Kobe did it, but it was later on in his career. If he does it now, while he's entering the prime of his career,
okay, I give you that.
Then there's no telling how his game can evolve, man.
But B, I'm gonna tell you, you brought up a good point, man. And because when I watch people because I'm gonna tell you, it was amazing for me because I've been watching the game so long. Normal big men, like you say, would post up inside the paint, do the layup, occasional fall away, and that was like a stretch for big men back in the day. But to your point with the footwork, his footwork does need some work when he in the post. But I watched his footwork get better every season since I watched him, and in my opinion, I think he's a really good jump shooter from 3-point range because he can knock down some threes. Now, here's the thing: that's the new game for big men now. These guys 7 feet, like Kevin Garnett. To me, Kevin Garnett was one of the first ones to not really be a center at 7 feet, step outside, be like a power forward, shoot the three. Shaq is like your traditional big man center, bang on the inside, get the dunks, get the fouls.
But Kevin Garnett, KG, he was a good shooter. He had a pure shooting form for a big. Have you seen Giannis' shooting form? It looks like it hurts.
Yeah, like he raises up sometimes. Yeah, I
like it's hitchy. Like
But this is the reason why I said he needs to go talk to Akeem and Patrick. When Akeem and Patrick were in college, they were dunkers, layups. Yeah. Patrick Ewing towards his end, you could put him at 15 feet. He'd knock it down all day. Akeem the same way. So they didn't come into the league as shooters, but they developed it. Magic Johnson couldn't shoot when he came into the league.
Right.
But he hit shot. So he has time, but I think he needs to get a better shooting coach. And you're absolutely right about his footwork. His footwork is really crossed. Yeah. He's used a lot of his athleticism. Now he has to start using his brain.
But here's the thing, K-Man. It's a different game now. And you see a lot of these young kids that are like 7 feet, Kevin Garnett, because they're tall and slim. They know they can't be on the inside. They can't be a center. Your traditional center. So they tailored their game to shooting threes, working on their footwork, driving to the hoop, and that's why it's so, because the game has changed now. The game has really changed.
It has, but we're gonna find out a lot about Giannis, I think, in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, we will.
And the steps he takes to develop, which parts of his game he chooses to focus on and develop. If he focuses more on shooting, then so be it. But he's gotta focus. He's gotta focus on that back to the basket. He doesn't. I'm not saying he's got to become a back to the basket power forward. He'll never be that player. But to have that in your bag when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter and you get the ball in the post and the dude guarding you knows you're going to try to sweep and blow by, which is your go-to. Mm-hmm. Just having that extra jab, that extra shimmy in your game.
So you punish Marcus Smart, who feels that he can check you down there.
Right.
And if you have that, you eat his lunch all day long.
And good point, K, man, and good point, B, because that's where we were discussing. We were talking about the Broncos, the teams not being disciplined. So here's the thing. To both of you guys' point, B, and you're right. In the next 2 years, we should see some growth in that in that area of his game, because he's getting older. They're going to be younger guys coming into the league, coming for him. Right. So he's going to have to change his game up some kind of way, because people are going to get accustomed to him to, like you said, doing a dip and trying to go in and dunk. They're going to be waiting for that. So if Giannis is smart, he's going to have to switch his game up or add something every season that no one has seen.
Yeah. And that's the thing I'm saying. And let me say this, but before the haters come out and start throwing stuff at the comments. Look, nowhere, in no way, shape, or form am I minimizing Giannis as a player. Look, Giannis has a couple of MVPs, and this is before he has done any of the things that we're talking about now. He's a generational player, top 5 in the league, top 3. I'll give him top 3 in the league right now. So don't come at me. Don't come at this podcast with all this sideways stuff talking out of your butt, talking about we're hating on Giannis, because we're not. All we're saying is there are things he can add to his game to make him literally unstoppable.
Jerry Rice was it? I think it was after Super Bowl, whatever the one they beat San Diego. They won the Super Bowl. 2 days after the Super Bowl, Jerry Rice was on the practice field catching footballs, running the Rice Hill. You can be good, you can be great, but you can always get better.
Right.
It's the line from Black Panther, which is like, how was the Okoye beats? Oh, they were good. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna make some improvements to it. No, they work fine.
Right.
Just because it's fine now doesn't mean it can't be improved. Right. That is a motto for anybody. The point. Just because you are good where you are now doesn't mean that you can't get better.
Exactly.
And that's what, like I said, B, you said earlier, in the next 2 years, we should see how he improves his game. If he's smart, because just like with a boxing champ, whoever the champ, they're going to be coming for you.
Yeah.
But you have to switch things up. And like I said, show them something that they haven't seen every season. Because I guarantee you, like I say, people watch film. They know what you're going to do. You have to be smart. You have to mature in the game and say, hey, look, this is something I'm going to add to my repertoire. Add something different.
And I think he will. I think he will. He's not the dude. He's not the type of dude that strikes me as complacent. As example, the deal he just signed.
Mm-hmm.
He wants this.
Yeah.
He wants it. So I think he'll get it done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. All right. So I know what another topic you guys brought up, man, was the MLB recognizing the Negro League stats, which I think is an awesome move, man. You know, bad enough. They say that there are not too many African Americans in baseball.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
For them to recognize to recognize the stats that the Negro League put up, and I'm curious. Some of those stats, and I'm pretty sure it's possible. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm pretty sure some of those stats are going to overlap the stats that are happening now.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then my question to you all: how do you think people are going to feel about that?
Ooh, they
When
gonna hate it.
Look, here's the thing. Say, for example, all-time most home runs.
That one right there.
And I'm hoping that there isn't any kind of blowback or pushback. They would just say, look, it is like Brandon said, it is what it is. Dude hit more home runs than this guy.
Hey,
But seriously, somebody's going to say, well, look, K-Man, you both of y'all was like, it has an asterisk by it.
hey, one of the things I've heard growing up is that Josh Gibson was a better home run hitter than Babe Ruth.
Yep.
Now, everybody would say, oh, he was hitting home runs because the Negro League was so inferior. I've heard that Satchel Paige was one of the best pitchers ever do it. And it's a shame that when he finally got to baseball, he was 36 years old. So, yes, because some people still kind of don't look at Hank Aaron's record as the record because Babe Ruth did it, whatever. And Lord knows they don't believe in Barry Bonds. So.
Right.
So, and then baseball is the ultimate numbers sport. You know, we don't know who has the most touchdown passes or the most rushing touchdowns or most points. We don't know that like that. But certain numbers in baseball.
Yeah, because you guys brought it up before, K-Man, and I know, K-Man, I know it's going to touch a nerve with you. We talk about wins for a quarterback, like wins for a pitcher. So that's my only thing, man. And I can say, shout out to MLB, for recognizing this. But I'm just waiting to hear the pushback.
Oh, we're gonna see it.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
That's gonna come.
That's guaranteed.
But that is a very good thing that Rob Manfred did, and it's about time. It's about time. I've read enough articles.
Yeah.
This week after that decision was made. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's a good idea, man. I really think this is one of the best moves that I've seen in a while for them to recognize that, man. I mean, to me, it's kind of been long overdue, but everyone's human and everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a good move. And when it happened, man, I was thinking about, wow, just think if they would have did this years ago, how many more African Americans would be in, MLB? Yeah. How much money would they be making?
Right.
Because I look at some of these contracts these pitchers are making, man, and I'm like, wow, what the heck? Who didn't somebody sign like a 10-year, 300? Was that what did Bryce Harper get when he went to Philly, man?
He got 10 years, 310. And then like a week later or 2 weeks later, Mike Trout signed 10-year, like 340 or something like that.
God dog it, man.
Something like that.
And then Mookie Betts is about to hit it big.
Yeah. He need his bag for real.
Dude, have you seen him on like social media and stuff? Like just the overall athlete that this dude is.
Yeah.
Mookie is good.
This dude can play anything.
Yeah.
He can play anything.
I mean, I don't follow baseball like that, but I don't understand how you trade a dude like that. I don't. I don't really understand that. I know it's Boston, and Boston has its issues with people who look like Mookie Betts, but how do you trade a dude like that?
But his thing with Boston, the reason Boston traded him, because they were looking at what they can get in return. And like you said, you mentioned with your Rockets, just tear it down and rebuild. And that's what they were looking to do. They
just won a championship, though.
True, but here's the thing. Boston has been kind of shaky the past 2-3 years. They've been kind of shaky. Since Big Papi left and all that stuff, they've been kind of shaky. And you got to think, man, you always bring it up, man. The market. Boston is a big market, especially for baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what they did, they got rid of Betts. Okay, what can we get for him? We can get 3 first-round picks. Cool. Okay. Let's rebuild. Big Papi's gone. He's not playing no more. We need to bring in young, fresh talent to build. That was my reason for Betts go. Now, another question for y'all. By the MLB recognizing the Negro League and their stats, do you all think that more black kids will get into baseball? Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see an influx of more African-American players versus more Latino players coming into the league?
If MLB did a nice move with this, but their next move needs to be partnering with a lot of major cities to, redo some of these baseball diamonds around their cities, like especially like they did with the Nats. To do it and have more camps and more involvement in youth baseball and youth baseball and recruitment in black cities, black neighborhoods to get players. Because right now baseball seems to, I know for myself when I was young, seems like a slow, boring game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Versus K-Man, and I mentioned to you, B, we were talking about Braden, versus playing football and basketball. The game is fast paced. Now here's the thing. for Spanish players, the reason a lot of them play baseball, and I'm going to tell y'all the number one reason, is to get out of poverty where they're from.
Right.
It's either they play baseball or soccer.
Yeah.
Those are their two, because they look at it, coming to America, playing in these sports, it's a come up. They can sign a big contract, get their family. Now, for African-American guys, young kids, like I say, Braden, it's more prevalent for us to see basketball and football because we see more people like us in those sports.
Yeah. Right.
That's why I say I'm curious about the MLB taking this on. Will there be more blacks like B? Come on, man. Would you tell Braden to play baseball?
Of course. Without question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Without question.
Lacrosse, too.
Yeah.
Get that scholarship.
Yeah. Whatever. Dude.
Man, that's the point right there.
That's why.
Lacrosse and baseball is kind of hard for us to get a scholarship. But when it comes to football and basketball, that might be a little easier.
Also, there's a price tag that comes with baseball, lacrosse, golf.
Right.
Because with football, all you need is a football and your hand-eye coordination in your legs. Basketball, same thing. But with those sports, you got to pay for uniforms. You got to pay for equipment.
But K-Man, and B-Wig, I applaud you, man. You say you would have your son play baseball. And here's the thing. The longevity of his life might be longer depending on what position he plays in baseball versus basketball and football.
Right. And listen, that goes...
particular sports are more wear and tear.
That, we've had that conversation already. We've had, yeah, you're going to play T-ball. No, take it back. You're going to play T-ball. And he enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. So, we just want him to have those options. We want him to, to be open to different, different sports because you just don't know. You never know. Be great at multiple things.
Yeah.
And so B, let me ask you one more question, man. Did you and Braden have to talk about what happened with the MLB and the Negro Leagues?
No.
Okay.
No, he don't.
He probably wouldn't understand it right now.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I mean, he's learned, kind of like the basics of our people and the the struggle, and they talked about it in school. They talked. Yeah, they've covered it in school a little bit, and so I'm bringing them along slowly. It's been a long year.
Yeah, it's been a rough year, but
Yeah.
Like I said, the reason that intrigued me when you guys brought this topic up, man, because I look at it from a money perspective. I look at it just like we were talking earlier, how these pitchers and these players are getting paid 300 something. I'm like, what the heck? 300 something $1 million in baseball? Don't get me wrong. During the summer, when there's no sports, I'll sit there and watch a baseball game. I want to see somebody hit a home run or see a good double play or something.
Yeah. And the thing I love about baseball, even though I don't follow it like I do, football or basketball. The thing I love about baseball is they're not just throwing these contracts around. No, you gotta be that dude.
Yeah.
You gotta be that dude to get a contract like that in baseball.
Here's the thing. What I kind of respect about baseball, MLB. Just like we talking about Braden, I'm use Braden again, B. He comes right out of 12th grade in high school. And agent comes to your house, sits down with you and your wife, B. We want to have Braden come play on our single 18. We'll pay him $5 million right up front. And when he goes into the league, I'll be his agent. Now, question B, would you let your son go play that ball or go to college to get a degree?
I'm gonna leave 70% of that decision up to him.
Gotcha.
I've already had a basic conversation with him. Look, college ain't for everybody, so you need to, and it's definitely not cheap. So if you feel like the best way you can move forward in your life and to get the most opportunities is to go get a college degree, I'm definitely not going to stop you from doing that. But if you get an opportunity to do something once in a lifetime, dude, you're never too old to get a college degree. College will be there. Yeah. College will be there. So to answer your question, like, look, you see this opportunity. Here's what I think. Here's how I feel about it. What do you want to do?
Well, look, B.
Also, it's not the same. If he chooses college, then he has to play 3 years in baseball. Baseball gives you the option.
Right. That's the grind,
straight out of high school.
That's the grind, K, man. He can come out of high school. He may not go directly into the major leagues. Right. It may take 5, 7, 10 years.
Yeah. Yep.
But look, K, man, what B just said, if that opportunity arises, B-Wig, according to K, man, the market you're in, somebody say, hey, Braden, look, man, I know what your dad said, but, man, you'll be great out in L.A., man. You'll be a bowler out there. Yeah. Get that bag, B. And then he come back and say, Dad, look, man, I know, but I'm going to go play 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in, UCLA then. Most likely I might get drafted by the Rams. I'm going to be living in L.A. According to K-Man, the market, that dictates it. And then B, what if he see all three of us talking about, man, James Harden chartering flights everywhere?
Right.
These young kids see that, man. I want to be like that.
Look, man, I'm not that guy to make my son live my dreams through, or make my son live my dreams through him.
Look, what up? You're not LeVar Ball?
Yeah,
I am not.
Never lost
LeVar Ball.
Yeah,
I am not LeVar Ball.
Never lost.
You know what? There's things I've learned in my life from decisions that I made that I probably shouldn't have made. There are lessons I've learned in my life,
right?
From things that I shouldn't have done. He's got to learn these lessons one way or another.
Yeah.
You can either take my advice or make your own decision and see what comes up. See what comes of it.
If it's bad, he'll learn from it.
All I can offer is my advice. I'm not going to stop you from learning a lesson, bro.
I told you that's the conversation I have with my son all the time, dude. Hey, look, man, it's up to you, bro. You ain't got to You ain't got to take. You ain't got to listen to me, your mom, nobody. It's up to you, bro. I said the only thing I tell you, if it turns out wrong, don't come to me and say, "Hey, look, man, well, you took." Nah, bro, I didn't tell you nothing.
Right. Yeah. It's like it's even like with little stuff now. Stop running up the steps. Don't run up the steps. Don't run down the steps. You might hurt yourself. I told you not to run up the steps.
I feel bad, man. When we lived over in Southeast, man, over in Shipley Terrace, we had a parking lot, man. I had one of these little fast remote control cars. And me and my son were in the parking lot, and he kept trying to run around the car. So I say, look, dude, stop before you fall. Of course, he was like 6 years old, kept laughing, and he fell, right? And scraped his knee kind of bad. So, okay, we go in the house. And I said, dude, I tried to warn you, man. You know, his thing, he cried for like maybe 15, 20 seconds. We get in the house. His knee really hurting him. I can see the little blood on it. So I dabbed the blood off. So I said, man, I'm going to hook you up. Y'all know what I did, right? I went and got some alcohol. Dabbed it on a little cotton swab. Look, he didn't know. And look, I pressed it right on that joint. I said, don't move. He screamed. His eyes looked like they about to pop out his head. And the whole time I said, I warned you. I said, calm down. You'll be okay. I said, I warned you. Mm-hmm. And I said, once again, he was like 6 years old. I said, you didn't have to take my advice for it. I said, as you get older, you understand.
You could have used the hydrogen peroxide, but you went with alcohol.
Yeah. They used to have this stuff. Y'all might have heard of it. It started with an M called Mercurochrome. Mercurochrome.
Yeah, the red stuff.
That's something else that'll get you right.
Yeah. You know what, B?
That's something else that'll burn the snot out of you.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know about that, B, because when I used to be playing in the hood in the park, playing tackle football with no equipment on, number one, wrong. But I used to get scrapes all the time.
Do that.
Look, K, man. I would come home and I would have scrapes, and I'd be like, man, and I would like, please, Lord, let my mom use a Mercurochrome because I know that's not really gonna burn too bad. But man, my mom would get like that green alcohol sometimes be the white alcohol. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, nah, you're not doing that. And of course, my mom ran the house. Boy, if you don't sit down. What kind of Mercurochrome did y'all use? Because the one that my brother used to use on me used to burn the snot out of me. The Mercurochrome didn't burn, man. It came in a little brown bottle, and it had like a little tip on it where you can like drip it onto the sword. Yeah.
But see, the bottle we had was like clear, and it had like a yellow top.
Nah, but the one we had in New Orleans, man, it was brown, small brown one, and it had a white top. Yeah, but now his thing, B, this was back by the time you was born, like 80, 85, 86, around that time. But look, I always hated alcohol, man. Oh my God. But look, number one, the thing is I taught him a lesson. I want him to learn, and he had to make his own decisions.
Yeah.
But it's a grind when you talking about baseball, African Americans going to baseball. It's a grind. People don't understand that. That's why you see a lot of pitchers, when they first get in, they're like 33, 34 years old. Mm-hmm. And you be like, man, where they been? They've been in the farm system.
Yeah.
Single A, double A, triple A, something else.
That's the thing, man. They got single A, double A, triple A, and you have to matriculate through those ranks. Now, it's very rare. It's very rare. Like the guy the Nationals got, man. What's the guy's name? What's his name?
Soto.
Yeah.
Soto.
19 years old. Very rare. But like I said earlier, he's that good because he came from a Latin country.
Yeah.
And he knew that was his way to make it, to get out of it. And like I mentioned before, for African Americans, baseball is not really that option. No one's really saying, hey, Braden, go play this baseball. Yeah, man, you can be great. But when like B, he's watching you and us look at basketball and football.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot easier for him to understand that game because he's watched it all. He's like, okay, yeah. I know I know what the Sam linebacker's going to do. Okay, I see the stud right there, yeah. 45 is the mic. Okay, I got you, okay.
Yeah.
I see the strong left. Okay, strong, not strong, right? I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, all these different scenarios we've thrown out tonight are cool, but I know what he's I know what you're going to end up doing.
Look, hey man, same with mine, dude. My son, man, I told y'all, man. Now he enjoys watching like football. Sometimes he really enjoys watching basketball. He'll play basketball, but other than that, that dude, we talking in the car, man. He was like, man, I don't really follow sports like that. And I had to look. I'm like, dude, are you my son, dude? What the heck? You just like the total opposite of me, man. What the heck is going on? Look, I felt like there's this clip of Vince Lombardi back in the day. His team was messing up, and he was like, "Whitey, they're killing me. Whitey, they're killing me." I feel myself like, dude, what? But he's a smart dude.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing, and that's why I took my hands off once he turned 18. I said, dude, it's on you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just curious to see how the MLB accepting these stats, how it's going to affect the African American young kids coming up playing baseball.
Yeah.
Because right now, a lot of them see that their only option possibly getting out of poverty, like Lamar Jackson, is football or basketball. There was a rapper made a song about that back in the day, saying that a lot of black athletes, the only way they see themselves out of the hood if you got a wicked jump shot or something like this. I forgot who said that.
Yeah.
It was Biggie.
Yeah.
either you're slinging,
Yeah.
or you got a wicked jump shot.
And just like you guys had mentioned earlier, when you go to New York, you see why they balling like that. It's the environment that he grew up in.
Right.
They're trying to make it out of there.
Yep.
And but I'm gonna tell you, I'm just curious to see how that's gonna play out.